There have been many absolutely amazing bands in the history of rock and roll, and yeah, Big Mountain Fudgecake ain't one of them.
Everybody, put your hands together for Big Mountain Fudgecake!
Hey folks, welcome to Squirrel Tactics. Don't forget to give a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And of course, don't forget to check out our Patreon and our sister channel. Anywho, let's do this. Big Mountain Fudgecake, sometimes billed as John Redcorn and Big Mountain Fudgecake, consisting of Elvin Mackleston on rhythm guitar, Elroy Lucky Kleinschmidt on lead guitar, and on lead vocals, the would-be Native American Rafi himself, John Redcorn. I have to point out that Lucky was voiced by Hall of Famer Tom Petty, and Elvin was voiced by country music star Trace Adkins. And at that point, John Redcorn was voiced by Jonathan Joss, who is also a musician who currently performs as part of the Redcorn band, so all three members were actual musicians. It should also be pointed out that they did not have a drummer or a bassist.
There's a hole in my pocket where my money should go.
And yeah, you do hear a drum along with them performing, so they must have either used a recording of a drumming or used a drum machine. Hell, honestly, Dale probably could have whipped something up on his keyboard. Also, you gotta admit that's a pretty sweet riff. As far as their musical style is concerned, I think Dale sums it up the best.
Some go-nowhere White Snake meets White Lion meets Great White rip-off group.
Speaking of Dale, he acts as Fudgecake's manager, handling issues like potentially meddlesome girlfriends.
Listen, Yoko, I'm the manager of this act, and I'm sick of you trying to split them apart.
What's a Yoko?
Okay, Missy, that's it. If you ever come within 100 feet of Fudgecake again, I will spend the rest of my life making you miserable.
My purse is inside.
Get!
Working to get them gigs like the Strickland family picnic.
I suggest you book Fudgecake now, because after the casino opens, they might be too big for you. They're gonna be helping kings and dignitaries get their groove on.
And giving pep talks to the band whenever times get tough.
Come on, guys. Did we give up when I left the E off of all of our merchandise? No! And we wore those Fudgecake t-shirts with pride.
He also sometimes acts as their tambourine player. They appear less than people would think, first being referenced in The Witches of East Arlen when John Redcorn is in a bookstore trying to pass out flyers.
Have you checked out John Redcorn's New Age Healing Center? You really should. On Friday nights, John Redcorn and his band, Big Mountain Fudgecake, will be playing. I'm John Redcorn.
I told you no more flyers.
Hey, Bobby. You like to rock.
We see in John Redcorn gambles with his future that they did end up landing a steady gig.
Good evening and buongiorno. The live entertainment portion of our evening is about to begin, so would you please give a warm welcome to John Redcorn and Big Mountain Fudgecake
As the house band at a local Italian restaurant.
Maria's Pasta and Pizza. Are you ready to rock?
Maria's Pasta and Pizza. They don't get the best reception from the audience during their performance.
There's a hole in my heart where you used to go. There's a hole and a hole and a hole. Big ol' hole.
And we find out later that they really didn't get a very good reception at all because they were fired and they were working for free.
We're finished forever.
Got fired from playing for free. It don't get any lower than that.
That dang manager never got what Fudgecake is all about.
No one ever does.
Yep, they got fired for working for free, but Lucky has a theory on why they aren't quite catching on like they figured.
We're either ahead of our times or possibly way behind, stuck in some more classical time. But either way, us and our times aren't seeing eye to eye.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you and your times will work it out.
It also didn't help that they were playing an Italian restaurant, which sometimes gigs like that happen. I mean, I watched a performance at a mall Hot Topic of a band called Johnny Pecker and the Beaver Bustin' Pickle Weasels, who sound like this, by the way. So yeah, some gigs are in places you wouldn't immediately expect. John Redcorn had overheard Hank and Buck talking, and he knew that Hank was looking for entertainment for the Strickland family picnic, so he shot his shot.
I couldn't help overhearing you have a big event coming up.
Yeah?
And we sure could use a break, Hank.
Well,
Don't you like to rock?
And he even came up to Strickland Propane to speak with Hank.
Did you find a band for your picnic?
No, he didn't. And the poor bastards all twisted up over it.
He then played their demo tape, which the people in the store didn't seem to be fans of, so Hank tried to turn it off.
I am the Reaper, the collector of souls. I am the taker and the smasher of bones.
But John Redcorn persisted and kept the music going until Hank was finally successful in shutting it off, to the relief of pretty much everyone present.
Mothers cry, children die alone.
Hank tells him that the music isn't the right fit for a family event, which is true, but doesn't say anything about the quality, which leads John Redcorn to explain why he's in the band, and we learn that he's at least 40.
You know, you start doing massage to pay the bills, and you tell yourself, just a few more years of this, Johnny. And then one day, you look up and you're 40. You're 40, Hank!
Hank tells him to bet on himself, which makes John Redcorn decide to open his own venue by borrowing money from a Native American company, who show up to his trailer during band practice. And yeah, Lucky asked the question that we'd all like to know.
Exactly what kind of Indian are you?
I'm 164th Creek on my mother's side.
John Redcorn explains to them that he wants to open a casino so that Fudgecake has a permanent place to play for an audience. Then the band gives them just a little taste of their face-melting rock.
Gotta get money for the things I wanna buy. Gotta get money so when the plane don't let me fly. Gotta get money or else I'm gonna die. This is where the drum solo usually goes.
Again, we never actually see a drummer, but he gets the money, builds a casino, and they proceed to work on the set list.
Let's open with I Need Money. We can transition to Gotta Get Money and do a whole money medley.
And finally, on opening night, after a short speech from John Redcorn,
Thank you, Arlen. And now here's a song about a band. A band that no one gave much of a chance to, until one day that band showed everyone that they could rock.
Big Mountain Fudgecake would have their moment. After all their struggle and hard work, all their blood, sweat, and tears, this was it.
A 1 and a 2 and a...
Freeze! Police!
All right, folks. It's over.
You know, part of me wonders if that band is cursed. Yeah, they got shut down for running an illegal gambling establishment, though Indian gaming, as it's referred to, is kinda legal, but only certain tribes and only certain games. Mostly stuff like bingo, but never fear, Dale is on the case.
Now you guys keep focusing on being stars, and I'll focus on a way to fix this.
You look like I feel whenever I run over one of my dogs.
The first part of his plan was to get Octavio to get Bloomers out of the way.
Make him disappear.
You want me to kill him?
What? No! Although, no, just drive him around. But I'm happy you're being proactive. There are no bad ideas.
Then, with Bloomers out of the way, the folks get restless, and with no other option, Hank gives in.
All hell does appear to be breaking loose. At least if you book Fudgecake, you tried something.
Oh, let's tip this one over.
Occupied, honey.
Dale, get me Fudgecake.
When John Redcorn gets the news, he's pretty psyched, as are the other guys, until they find out that it's the Strickland family picnic.
We got a gig. We got a gig.
Oh, wow.
The Strickland Family Days picnic.
Family Days?
That ain't rock and roll.
What does it matter? An audience is an audience.
Lucky and Elvin refused to play, claiming that it would send the wrong message about the band, that they wanted to rock, if they played a family picnic.
Fudgecake don't play family picnics. It'd send the wrong message. I ain't going.
And I double ain't going.
But John Redcorn argues that this is the chance they've been looking for, and he's right. This is exactly what the band needed.
Are you crazy? This is a paying gig with hundreds of people.
But the guys stick to their guns and leave, which is probably for the best because Fudgecake playing at the picnic would not have gone very well.
Yeah, well, the cake don't sell out.
John Redcorn ends up going to the picnic and informs Hank of the band breaking up, which I guess technically Big Mountain Fudgecake still existed, just without John Redcorn.
What in the heck is going on? Where's the rest of the band?
I thought I owed it to you to tell you in person. We broke up. Fudgecake is dead.
But Dale has a gribble of an idea and tells John Redcorn to go for it solo.
John Redcorn, you're the heart and soul of the cake, man. You can play this gig yourself.
Alone? Me? Besides, kids aren't going to want to listen to me.
The BMF sound is universal. You can adapt.
And with Dale being so gung-ho on the idea, John Redcorn decides that maybe, just maybe, he can make it work.
I guess there is that song about killing myself. I could rewrite it so it's about personal hygiene.
Love it. Now go!
And so John Redcorn gives it a shot, changing the song on the fly.
Wake up, just want to wash myself, clean my wrist, scrub my brains out.
And it worked, calming the crowd down and being a hit with the audience.
Hey ha, hey ha, hey ha, hey, hey ha, hey, hey ha, hey. They'll miss me when I do.
This led to John Redcorn changing his failing stuffed animal casino into Redcorn's Land, a stuffed animal casino for kids.
There's a hole in the tank where the fishes should go. There's a hole and a hole and a hole.
And he changed into the Native American Rafi.
But I recreated him as the Native American Raffi.
For those that don't know, Rafi was probably the world's biggest children's singer with a career going back to the 70s. So John Redcorn became a children's singer and is pretty good at it. I could see this being popular.
There's a hole and a hole and a hole. There's a hole and a hole and a hole.
Meanwhile, Fudgecake lived on as a two-piece made of Lucky and Elvin, who were performing in a different environment, but hey, they're happy.
I tell you, Elvin, this is rock and roll.
Hell yeah!
The next time and last time we see Big Mountain Fudgecake is in Earthy Girls Are Easy, where they play at the Strickland Propane Concert for the Earth. Except this time it's Elvin and John Redcorn with no Lucky.
Ladies and gentlemen, Big Mountain Fudgecake.
So we never get to see or even hear a story about how they got together, something I really wish we'd gotten, but overall Big Mountain Fudgecake holds a special place in a lot of people's hearts. They only appear a few times, the vast majority of which is in one episode, but every fan of the show knows BMF. It might have been a way to rock, it might have been a way to get fame and fortune, or at least make something of themselves, but like most local bands, they had their fun and went along their way. They had some pretty good riffs, pretty terrible vocals, and phantom drum sounds, and though I can't prove it, and it's probably not true, in my heart of hearts I want to believe that those guitar parts were played by Tom Petty. Again, probably not, but a squirrel can dream.
There's a hole in my pocket where my money should go. There's a hole and a hole!
Oh, God.
Come on, guys. Did we give up when I left the E off of all of our merchandise? No! And we wore those Fudgecak t-shirts with pride.